Hello everyone, welcome to Nuts Bestie Explains. Today we see the another topic from the management, nursing management and leadership, that is planning. Very important step in the nursing management. Coming to the introduction of planning, planning is very important in modern hectic life. Yes or not? Now we are all in modern hectic lives where planning is very important. There is hardly any field of our life which does not require planning. Hardly any field which does not require planning in our life. Our day to day daily life also requires planning. All other functions of management like organizing, staffing, directing and controlling, these all depends upon planning. Planning is very important step. Without plan you cannot proceed with other steps, functions of the management like organizing. To organize what? Where is the plan to organize it? Staffing. Without a plan, can you recruit the staff? How many number of staff you want to recruit? What qualification? Everything has to be planned first. Direction. No plan, no direction. And controlling. Everything depends upon the planning. So planning is very important function of our life and also the management. Coming to the definition of planning. According to Cresto SC, planning is the systematic development of action programs aimed at systematic development of action. What program you have to do aimed at reaching the business objectives. Okay, to reach our objectives, so what programs or actions we have to perform, that is planning. By the process of analyzing, evaluating and selecting among the opportunities which are foreseen. Okay, among this selecting the best plan or the objectives to reach our business goals. And according to Heyman, planning is deciding in advance what is to be done. In advance, what we have to do tomorrow. In advance, deciding what to do is called as planning. Whether a manager plans, he project a course of action for the future. If a manager plans for next 1 month, 2 months, what should be the objectives, the course of action for the future. Attempting, why he is doing planning? To attempt to achieve a consistent coordinate structure of operation aimed at the desired results. To achieve the desired results, the manager will plan for course of action, what has to be done. That is called as planning according to Hyman. According to L. F. Urvik, planning is fundamentally a mental predisposition to do things in an orderly way. It is a mental predisposition, preparing our mind to do things in an orderly way. One by one we need to have a planning. So it is a fundamentally a mental predisposition to do things in an orderly way, to think before and act. First we have to think that about what we are going to do, then act. Okay, in the light of the fact rather than of guessing. Instead of guessing, okay, we have to plan anything. It can be anything. If you take a simple tomorrow what for breakfast, we have to plan a day before itself, because instant breakfast options are very less. You need planning for what you have to eat. Then how much you need planning to work in an organization or to run an organization. So much planning is required. So these are the definitions of planning. Next topic is characteristics of good planning. What are the characteristics of good planning? We will see now. Okay, you can observe this picture which shows the 5 steps of characteristics of good planning. Primacy, futuristic orientation, pervasiveness, flexibility of dynamism, unity of purpose and directive. Coming to the first step of the first characteristic of planning, primacy. Okay, primacy means a state of being first in importance. Okay, we should get first importance we should get. And rank or time means holding a dominant supreme leading position. Okay, that prime importance we should get, that is the first. So planning should be given prime importance. Without planning, if you do other steps, organizing, staffing, everything will go waste. You cannot achieve your results at the end. So prime important step so is planning. Next, futuristic orientation. This is the other characteristic, futuristic orientation. That means a cognitive motivational mindset. Okay, we should have a futuristic, okay, orientation. We should know what we are going to do in future. So having that idea now itself, that is a cognitive motivational mindset focused on long term goals. After 6 months, what I have to achieve today itself, you have to plan for the future and then act. Okay, so that is one characteristic, futuristic orientation. To achieve our long term goals, planning and anticipating future. Okay, imagining what will happen in future, what consequences over immediate rewards. Okay, that is futuristic orientation. This is also one of the characteristics. Next, third one is pervasiveness. Okay, it means the state of being present. Okay, state of being present, noticeable. People should notice it, or widespread throughout every part of a place, thing, or society. Every part of any place, anything, or in the society, widespread. Okay, and which is noticeable. That is planning. Your planning speaks. Okay. If organization, staffing, directing, controlling, everything is well planned, then everything will run smoothly. You will achieve the goals. So that is very important. State of being present, noticeable, or widespread throughout every part of the place, thing, or society. That is pervasiveness. Next, fourth characteristic of good planning is flexibility of dynamism. Flexibility. Your plan should be flexible according to the need. That means ability to adapt any change or to maintain control. Okay, to maintain control and while moving throughout the active throughout your process of achieving the goals. It may be 6 months or 1 year. You should be able to control, and also the plan should be flexible. You should be able to make changes and adapt to the changes. Often some changes are unpredictable. You cannot predict them. Suddenly you need to make the changes, but you should be able to adjust in your plan. Like that it should be. Planning should be like that, flexible of dynamism. Depending upon the situation, you should be able to make the changes. So flexibility of dynamism. Fifth characteristic is unity of purpose and unity of directive. Okay. So these unity of purpose and unity of directive, these are the principles of management. If you see 14 principles of management, unity of purpose and unity of directive you can observe. Okay. Unity of purpose means why and what everyone believes in and works towards the goal vision. Why we have to work, on what we have to work. That is unity of purpose. Then unity of directive. That means one head, one plan. One plan should be there. It should be head by only one person. One person has to give instructions, all others has to follow. Too many people should not be there. Okay, like that, unity of purpose and unity of directive. Two foundations, these are the two foundations closely related at distinct management principles. So these are the 5 characteristics of good planning. Primacy, futuristic orientation, pervasiveness, flexibility of dynamism, unity of purpose and directive. Okay, please remember this. These are the characteristics of a good planning. Next, importance of planning. Why the planning is important? As we have already seen, planning is the first step in the process of management. Why it is important? First one is primacy of planning. We have seen what is primacy. State of being first and very important. Okay, so for that planning is important. To offset uncertainty and changes, to adjust with any changes, uncertainty, sudden changes, we should be ready. Okay, for that planning is required. To focus attention on objectives. To focus on objectives before starting any work, we formulate objectives. To focus on those objectives, planning should be there, because based upon the objectives we do the planning and start doing the work. So focus will be maintained if we plan according to objectives. To help in coordination. For coordination between each and every work, we need to have a plan. For this, planning is important. To help in coordination, to help in control. Okay, if we have plan, if anything is going out of control, you will immediately identify, bring back that into control. Okay, so that control will be there if there is planning. to increase organizational effectiveness. In any organization, planning plays very important role because it increases organizational effectiveness. The work whatever we plan to do, we can do it in a effective way. For this, planning is very important. So this is the importance of planning. Next, principles of planning. What are the principles of planning? We'll see now. There are 11 principles total. Okay, so first one is contribution to objectives. The first principle of planning is contribution to objectives. Every major and derivative plan, should contribute positively towards the accomplishment of the enterprise's objectives. Okay, so the first principle of planning is whatever you plan, every major and derivative plan, it should focus on accomplishment of that organization's objectives. Whatever with what objectives that organization is working to achieve that or to accomplish that, your plan should be there. Every major and derivative plan should contribute positively towards the accomplishment of the enterprise's objectives. Okay, that is the first principle, contribution to the objectives. Second one is efficiency of plans. Your plans should be efficient so that you can achieve the result of what you are working on. The efficiency of a plan is measured by the amount it contributes to desired objectives minus the cost and other undesirable consequences which are involved in formulation and operation of the plan. At the end of 6 months or 1 year, when you measure the objectives, whether you achieved those objectives or not, okay, desired objectives are achieved or not, minus the cost, how much cost you have spent. You will plan in the beginning itself, within 2 lakhs I have to finish this project. Whether within that 2 lakh amount you are able to complete the project or not, and desirable, undesirable, the control of undesirable consequences and formulation and operation of the plans, whether you are able to do all this or not. That efficiency you will come to know at the end of the at the time of the result. Okay, so efficiency of plan you will come to know at the end based upon the objectives, the cost and undesirable consequences. This principle stresses the economical use of individual efforts to achieve group goals. Efficiency of plans stresses more importance on economical use of individual efforts. Okay, next, third principle is primacy of planning. Okay, this is one of the characteristic also. First one, that is primacy of planning. This principle emphasizes that a manager can hardly perform other managerial functions without a roadmap of plan to guide him. Any manager without a roadmap, he cannot start or complete any work. Okay, that is for sure. Okay, or even if you do without the planner, you cannot. Fourth one is planning premises. The coordinated structure of plans can be developed only when managers throughout the organization understand and agree to utilize consistent planning premises. When there will be a coordinated structure of plan which is informed to all the managers, can be developed only when all managers throughout the organization understand it and agree to utilize those planning premises. Perhaps the main deficiency of planning arises from poorly structured plans. When everybody, all managers involved and prepared a coordinated structure of plan, everyone know that they will agree to utilize the planning premises. If they are not involved, there will be deficiency of planning arises from poorly structured plans. Fifth principle of planning is policy framework. A consistent and effective framework of plans can be developed only if the basic policies that guide decisions are expressed clearly and are understood by the manager who prepares the plans. Okay, a consistent and effective framework of plan, it can be developed only if the basic policies, the policies of that organization and that guide the decisions which are expressed clearly and understood properly by the managers who prepares this plan. Okay, that is policy framework. Timing. Sixth principle is timing. When the plans are structured in a time frame to provide an opportunity of appropriately limited network of derivative and supporting programs. When the plans are structured in the time frame, okay, to provide an appropriately limited network, okay, for a period of time, 6 months or 1 year period of time, and supporting programs, these plans can contribute effectively. These kind of plans will contribute very effectively and efficiently towards the attainment of the that organizational objectives. Both premises and policies are useless without proper timing. If policies and premises are there, if proper timing is not there, those are useless. Then seventh principle is alternatives. Alternatives. In choosing from alternatives, the planner should focus primarily on those factors that are critical to the attainment of the desired goal. The factors which are very important to attain the goal at the end, choosing from alternatives, the planner should focus primarily on the factors. Okay. Okay, that choice should be there. If alternatives are there, the planner will choose appropriately which is best suitable for them for their attainment of the desired goal. So alternatives is one of the principles. This will help in selecting most favorable alternative. Next, eighth principle is commitment. Logical planning should cover a time period that can ensure that the commitment involved in a decision can be fulfilled. Commitment involved in a decision can be fulfilled when there is logical planning. Okay, it should cover a time period that should ensure that commitment involved in decision can be fulfilled. This is necessary to make reasonably sure that commitments are met. Okay, so that is the eighth principle, commitment. Ninth one is flexibility. We know flexibility is that plan should be, we should be able to bring changes whenever required. So that planning should be flexible. This principle deals with the ability to change what is built into plan and reduce the risk of loss. In between, whenever is required, you should be able to change the plan without any loss due to unexpected events. However, the cost of flexibility should be weighed against the dangers of future commitments made. Making changes if it is easily adjustable in the plan, and those changes should not give any loss or any danger to the future commitments. Okay, so the ninth principle is flexibility. 10th one is navigational change. The manager should periodically check on events and expectations, redraw plans to maintain a course towards the desired goal. The manager should periodically check, okay, in a like a planned periods, like every 3 months or once in a month, they should periodically check on events, how the things are going on according to expectations, or redraw the plans if the plans need to change or replan. So that has to be done to maintain a course towards the desired goal, so that consistently you should work towards the desired goal. Unless plans have inbuilt flexibility, navigational change is difficult or costly. Unless the plans have inbuilt changes are there, flexibility, navigational change is difficult or it becomes costly. Okay, you cannot bring changes if it is not properly planned. But inbuilt flexibility should not be an excuse to refrain from periodic revision of plans if circumstances so warrant. Inbuilt flexibility, okay, plan itself, while planning itself, if they have planned with inbuilt flexibility, it should not be an excuse to refrain from periodic revisions. Okay, so we should not stop. Anyhow, there is some inbuilt flexibility. Let's not check like that. They will continue until the last step. Not like that. Periodical revision of plans is always necessary. Okay, navigational change. Then 11th principle is competitive strategies. While formulating itself, a manager should take into account the plans of rivals or competitors. So in every business, every field there are rivals or competitors. So competitors will be there. We are running a hospital just near or opposite to our hospital, and there is another hospital with the same strategy. They will also be running. So we will have a rival or a competitor. Okay. So while formulating plans, a manager should take into account the plans of rivals and competitors also. We should consider and what they would do in the similar situation. So by keeping that in mind, plans has to be formulated. That is competitive strategies. These are all the principles of planning. In revision, they are contribution to objectives, efficiency of plans, primacy of planning, planning premises, policy framework, timing, alternatives, commitment, flexibility, navigational change, and competitive strategies. These are the principles of planning. After principles, in the topic continues with the steps in planning process. Very important steps in planning process. Coming to the steps in planning process, first step is determination of objectives. Determining the objectives. We have to start the planning with objectives to achieve our goal. Okay, so determine the objectives. Then collection and forecasting of information, collection of the data, collection of the information and forecasting for the future. Predict the future, forecast the future of information. Then development of planning premises. Okay. Then discovering alternatives. Okay. We have a planning premises which is ready, but discovering alternatives. If not, or if anything goes wrong, what is the alternative course of action? That also we have to plan at the time of planning itself. Then formulation of derivative plans. Okay, now with all this, you have to formulate the actual plan what you want to follow. Then communicating the plan. Once the plan is ready, you need to communicate with all the managers and employees so that everyone will coordinate in implementing the plan, communicating. Then follow up measures. Once we start following the plan, frequently we have to do revision or checking. Okay, that is follow up measures. Monthly or once in 3 months, you need to check whether things are going according to plan or not. So these are all the steps of planning. Determination of the objectives, collection and forecasting of information, development of planning premises, discovering alternatives, courses of action, formulation of derivative plans, communicating the plan and follow-up measures. These are the steps in planning process. Next one is advantages of planning. What are the advantages of planning? So as we said, planning is very important in nursing management and one of the principle of nursing management. Okay, so what are the advantages? Why we need to plan everything? Okay, planning facilitates management by objectives. Planning gives objectives. Okay, for the management. Planning minimizes uncertainties. If you plan ahead for the next upcoming year, what activities we have to do, how we have to run the organization. If you plan, it will minimize uncertainty. That is unexpected things you can minimize. Okay, everything goes according to the plan, so there won't be any surprises. So situation is in under our control. So planning minimizes uncertainties. Planning facilitates coordination. If planning is there, everyone knows about the plan. All will work under coordination. All departments, employees will work under coordination to achieve the goals. Planning improves employees' morale. So planning will improve employees' morale, belonging. If they also communicated about the plan, every employee will feel they belong to the institution. Everyone will cooperate towards the achieving goals. Planning helps in achieving economies. Planning will help in achieving the economy. By the end of the year, whatever the income or profit benefit which we are expecting, that will be achieved. Okay, planning helps in achieving economy. Then planning facilitates controlling. If every step is properly planned, it will facilitate control. The situation will be under the control of the management. Otherwise, daily surprises will keep coming, with which the situation will not be under the control. Okay, these are the advantages of planning. Limitations of planning. Limitations of planning are: one is rigidity. If the plan is very rigid, you cannot make any changes. That is one problem which we may face while running an organization. Okay, so rigidity is one limitation. And misdirect planning. Okay, if properly not directed. Okay, like any manager who has poor knowledge or who is not involved at the time of planning, they may misdirect the employees, which leads to misdirect planning. Then time consuming. Sometimes following the plan according to plan is time consuming. Okay, which will restrict us to finish the work soon. Okay, you have to go slowly according to the plan. Probability in planning, false sense of security. Okay, we will be in a false sense of security. Our plan is there, no need to worry. Like that, we just blindly follow the plan. So, false sense of security. Everyone will be in a false sense of security if there is a plan ready. And expensive. Sometimes planning is expensive because we need experts involved, and departmental heads, everyone should be involved, and planning should be done by the experts in the management. So hiring them, maintaining their positions, all that becomes expensive. Okay, these are the limitations of planning: rigidity, misdirect planning, time consuming, probability in planning, false sense of security, and expensive. Okay, so this is about planning. So planning is it is very important function, important in modern hectic life. And coming to the definition of planning, just for a revision, planning is the systematic development of action programs aimed at reaching business objectives by the process of analyzing, evaluating, selecting among the opportunities which are foreseen. After the definition, we have seen the characteristics of a good planning: primacy, futuristic orientation, pervasiveness, flexibility of dynamism, unity of purpose, and directive. These are the characteristics. After this, we have seen the principles of planning, purposes of planning, and principles of planning. Okay. Then after this, steps in planning process, advantages and disadvantages. So this is about planning in nursing management. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.